Hour 2 of the program, ladies and gentlemen. Tobin and Leroy here with you, 560 WQAM. We'll talk a little puck later on in today's show. Our number one Panthers insider, David Dwork, will join us in the 1 o'clock.
Yes, I was getting ready to ask you about that.
We'll have him stop by the program, see if he's caught up on his sleepy poos. Saw his live.
There is no way.
Yeah, that was cool.
Because you got to figure that as much as that dude has followed the Panthers,
yep,
he's like
boots on the ice. Boots on the ice. It's been a cool part of it, and everything that's been going on. So, if you guys have not heard, the parade is going to be Sunday on A1A Fort Lauderdale Beach, and it starts at 11 a.m. Oof, this Bob Myers is on my television. He annoys me. I think it's his hair. It is his hair. He looks like Kramer.
Ernie. Oh, he doesn't
looks like Kramer from Seinfeld. Like he busted into First Take.
I feel like hair and makeup was like, let's mess him up.
All right. Headlines brought to you by the new Palmetto Ford Truck Supercenter. Why buy your truck at a car store? Palmetto Ford.
We know trucks.
So again, the draft is tonight. Heat select 15th. And if you guys want to go to the Heat watch party, Solana will be broadcasting live at the Dolphin Mall, Vivo in the Dolphin Mall. Tonight, Heat pick 15th. What time do you think that's going to be, Leroy? 15th pick. We know what Jaime was picked last year.
They go 10 minutes, right?
I don't remember.
I don't know. I got to check.
I got to brush up on my NBA draft rules because hockey's over.
Nah, it's true.
Oh, come on, dude.
I'm sorry. I'll take my -1.
Wow.
-1 for Sass.
Let's get to some Dolphin stuff. This was making the round yesterday. You know, this is kind of like the dust settling. We were in a hockey haze yesterday. We have other business to attend to until the parade comes up. But Jeff Darlington, longtime reporter, NFL reporter for ESPN, and then of course was boots on the ground for many years down here, Miami Herald. And Jeff Darlington, you know, we haven't heard much on the Tua and where things stand, but Jeff kind of gave like an ominous report yesterday on NFL Live that said that things are not going in a great direction with these negotiations. Here was Jeff Darlington yesterday on ESPN.
But right now, there's 5 words that are looming over this contract negotiation, and they're the words that came out of Tua's mouth. The market is the market. He said that after Jared Goff had signed his deal and before Trevor Lawrence signed his. The complicated part of this is the Dolphins could point at that Jared Goff deal and say, well, we're not the Detroit Lions. We're not making that decision. But when Trevor Lawrence then leapfrogs it, you've got a situation because right now, the Dolphins are not offering the contract that is the market value based on those other deals that were done. So if this gets there, it's just going to require more negotiations. And we're not to panic point just yet. I just think that my optimism earlier has to be slightly scaled back at this point, given all of those factors currently in play.
Jeff, real quick, but so when you say the Dolphins right now aren't offering what the market of those other, are we talking Jared Goff, Trevor Lawrence type of market?
Yes, that is the market. I don't want to get too far into the nuance of numbers because, quite frankly, I don't know them. But based on my conversations, they are not in the Jared Goff and Trevor Lawrence ballpark. And that, to me, speaks volumes about where the negotiations are right now. Again, though, keyword negotiations. We all know. We've all been through them. We know that it can change in a minute.
There you go. Jeff Darlington yesterday on
NFL
Live.
My question is this. This is setting up this way. If you had extended to 7 months ago, it would have cost you 45 to 50.
Yep.
And now you waited, and it's going to cost you closer to 60.
Though I will say, Leroy, I don't blame them for that. He was coming off a very scary season of concussion, so I don't blame the Dolphins.
Right. No, not for doing it last year. I'm again, whatever the reasons are for them hesitating, it's okay.
Yep.
Right? But this also has the same feel of Christian Wilkins.
It does. It does feel eerily like that.
Because as dominant as Christian Wilkins was, they took one aspect of his production and said it wasn't worthy of it, and that was the sacks. So he went on and got more sacks, which, if you knew he had that in him, why wouldn't you pay him? And it just has that feel all over again that, guess what? The team is going to be better. In turn, Tua's going to be better. So if Tua has a better year than last year, how much more money are you going to have to spend? Because you figured we don't have to pay him market value. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, the only thing I think that the Dolphins would probably say, their safety levers, is of course they can franchise him for a couple of years. It's not the best look of him, of really believing in the guy.
You would do, dude.
Well, that's why Tua comes out and says what he says, right? Like the whole thing about Tua saying not only that the market is the market, but saying that separating the personal and the work relationship
is hard.
Easy
it's
for
hard.
him.
It's hard for a person that's genuine.
Yeah,
for a guy who doesn't care and can play the game and he doesn't care one way or another, it's not personal. But for a guy who is genuine, a guy who has told the line, no matter what has happened to him, has told the company line, it becomes more difficult because you always wonder, why am I doing this? It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So forget about the fact, I guess, that, whether you're in on paying Tua or not, I feel like we've all decided Frog Boy wants him to shut the hell up. And I believe he said, stop being a whittle quiet baby.
Yeah,
I think that's what those your words?
That was the exact quote.
I think that's what you said.
Whittle.
I think that's what you said to Tua. But just forget about that. Like, is there a point where does this really affect anything with it? If they don't pay him, does that really hold water? Like, is that going to actually affect him this year? Because that felt like it was kind of Tua's last effort to get something done, being like, hey, this is going to affect me.
Here,
and I don't know if that's actually going to be something that works to get a deal done, but he did as much as he publicly can and will. Like, that was Tua as much making a stink as he could make a stink without holding out when he has that press conference.
Here's the thing, though. And I always use the past to predict what a person's going to do in the future, right? Tua has handled himself a certain way since the day he got into the league.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's anything that would change him being who he is. And so from that standpoint, he's going to go out, he's going to perform, because guess what? He's had a lot worse situations than determining whether he's going to make $45 or $55 million. He's had a lot worse situations that happened to him while on this team.
Agreed.
And so from that standpoint, I expect him to be the best version of Tua. And here's where it gets difficult. What if he leads the league in passing again? What if the team has a deep run? Can you actually go to him and say, we're going to franchise you? Because now the price is going to be ridiculous for him if he does that.
This is
That's what you're paying for, though.
But this is, I think, where the people who are skeptics of paying Tua, just for whatever reason, I think that they go and maybe, Frog Boy is of this ilk too, is like, well, what's the harm then? Like, they could always just pay him. Like, there's never going to be not a time that if you're going to pay him 55 or you're going to pay him 60, you're going to pay him a whole hell of a lot of money. Yeah. What does it matter if it's this year or next year?
But that number,
just show me something.
But that number keeps going up. And at what point are you going to say to yourself, if we would have did this 6 months ago, it might have cost us $50 million less?
Schmeathan says manners don't win playoff games.
You know what? Here's the funny thing about an athlete is you say that, but nobody wants a jackass. You understand what I'm saying? So make up your mind. Do you want a guy who's gnarly and just puts it out there and just like, yeah, y'all need to pay me. And you want a guy like that? Or do you want a guy who's going to be what Tua has been while still performing? Like, you make up your mind because, listen, the squeaky wheel always gets paid. And it's unfortunate. Teams do this to themselves. The two guys who have been company guys have not gotten paid, and one guy's on another team. And he told the company line the whole time. And they dismissed him. And now he's no longer with the team. So what do you want? Do you want a guy that only cares about the money because that guy will get paid? Or the guy that told the company line and tried to be a lifer and you just dismiss?
And respectfully, like, it's a lot harder to replace your quarterback than it is, even as good as Christian Wilkins is.
Yes.
I think the Dolphins are going to be okay. Like, I don't think anybody would question that the Dolphins record is going to be that much different without Christian Wilkins this year.
Dude, I'm telling you, listen, I'm not saying that they can't make it without Christian Wilkins, right? But I am going to tell you this. His impact on a football field is not like anything you've seen from that position.
Fine,
and people just dismiss it.
It's not the QB. It's not the QB.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like, you know,
what he did.
I know he's your favorite, but like,
no. It has nothing to do with that. One of the reasons why he is my favorite is because the numbers that he put up are not normally put up from that position.
Okay, but the defense,
a defensive tackle does not have 100 tackles.
Okay, but but like, you would agree that replacing a franchise quarterback or replacing your starting quarterback is a bigger challenge than replacing your defensive tackle.
Which means that I would think that they would move quicker.
One would think.
And not be put in the same situation that just lost them one of their best players.